What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hidden Heights Farm. And as you can see, I got the Kubota M59 behind me. I got the grapple on the back of the truck, and we are down here at the new lake property. We got some cleanup to do. So I'm gonna try to pan this camera around. I'm not gonna do a ton of talking today. I just got off work. It's in the evening time. I got a few hours to come down here, and we got some nice weather today. I want to try to start cleaning out some of these groves of trees. A lot of it is just some like smaller type trees. There might be a few bigger ones in there. And before we get crazy with chainsaws and stuff, I want to use the Kubota. I want to use the backhoe on there and try to dig out as many of these little small trees as we possibly can. Reason being is this is an area where we might eventually put like a tiny cabin or some kind of a structure, and we're going to be mowing around it a lot and stuff. And you guys know when you ever use chainsaws and cloppers and all that stuff to take out these smaller diameter trees, you usually have these stubs sticking up, and one, they either pop the tires on your vehicles, or two, they're a pain to mow around. So if you got a backhoe like I do, it is usually 100 times easier to just dig them out, the whole root ball and everything. And that way you get rid of that little stub or stop sticking up. You don't get no flats, and you don't have to worry about mowing around it or even tripping over it. A lot of times walking through the woods and stuff, when you clear a path using cloppers and all that, eventually it's just a matter of time before you trip over one of them stobs or whatever. So I've been leaving the Kubota backhoe on the trailer because, you know, it's just a little bit of a pain to load up and strap down with the chains every time. So I've just been leaving it on here and bringing it down to this land as we need it. Like I said, we only live about 2 miles up the road here. It's a little too far to road this thing. This is a hydrostatic tractor, so you don't really want to get it on the highway and get it going too fast. They say it's not good for the transmission, so we don't want to do that and break it. But I already had the bucket on here because you guys seen the last video we were down here. I was actually working on the entryway, working on the road a little bit, and I didn't want to have to unbind all the chains and unload this thing, swap out the grapple. So I used the other Kubota, the old L3300, and put the grapple on the flatbed and just drove it down here. And now that's what we're going to do. We're going to swap the buckets out for the grapple, hook the hydraulics up, and then get to digging with the backhoe. I don't know if we'll use the grapple too much today or not, but what we'll do is we'll dig a few trees up at a time, and then as we get a few of those trees dug up, I'll use the grapple on the front end loader, grab them, and come stick them over here on the brush pile. So I was wanting to get started a little earlier today, but I was fueling up the tractor and I had the gas cap sitting on top of the hood. I went to reach up to grab it and I accidentally knocked it down in the engine compartment, and it got down where I couldn't grab it, and I already had everything bound down, so I couldn't just flip the hood up. So I had to finally get a flashlight and I could see it, and I fished it out of there. So like I said, that's enough gabbing for today. I'm gonna get this swapped out and then get to working. Alright guys, so you can see I've been kind of digging, trying to get this little grove of trees out. And in all those little grove of trees, I don't have one to show you. I'll grab one here in a minute maybe. There's these big green vines and they're like wrapped around everything, growing up all the trees. And they got these giant thorns on them. And then I actually took out that biggest tree I took out so far was a locust tree, and it had those big thorns on there. But you won't believe what I found in the middle of all those trees whenever I got in this one last group of trees and I started digging the root ball up. Look at this thing. If you guys can see that or not. This is a really old 7-Up bottle. I've never seen one this old in person. It says 7-Up, you like it, it likes you. 1 pint. So found our first treasure here on the new property. That's pretty cool. I like old stuff like this. I don't think it has a date on it. It says not to be refilled. Huh. So I don't know how old it is. I'll have to look it up, but we don't know how old this rock building is. The previous owner said it was over 100 years old, passed down generation to generation, and then multiple people that bought this property. That's just what was passed down. It was over 100 years old now, so we don't know. So there's no telling how old this 7-Up bottle is. I don't think 7-Up's been in the business for 100 years, but this is pretty old because they haven't made glass bottles ever since I was a kid. Not like this anyways. So I'm gonna get the grapple now. I've got several of these trees down, as you can see, and I'm gonna get the grapple and take these over to the brush pile and start piling them up, and then I'll get busy on the rest of these trees. I don't think I'm gonna take out this big tree here because that is actually a pecan tree, and that's a pretty good mature pecan tree. And I hate taking out trees, but we got to get a little bit of this taken out so we can have some room to clean up and mow, and then maybe eventually put some kind of structure up here. Okay, update time. I got some good news and some bad news. So the good news, you guys remember the little grove of trees that we had all right here? Well, I turned the camera off and I got busy and started taking them out. And I went ahead and left these 2 pecan trees. They're not huge pecan trees, but they are pretty old, mature trees. And let me zoom in here and show you guys. At first, I didn't think this was a pecan tree because these leaves does not look like a pecan tree, but what that is something, whatever that vine is growing up that tree. But if I go up a little bit and then zoom in on these leaves, you can see those are pecan tree leaves. So it's still, you know, it's still a mess. I can only do so much with this tractor. A lot of this we're gonna have to come back up here with rakes and like cloppers and a sawzall with the blade on it, because you don't want to come up here and use a chainsaw on a lot of these roots. So when I'm talking about cleanup, so when you dig these trees out of the ground, you want to dig them out and you want to shake the root ball and get all that dirt to fall back in the hole. Well, when you're digging these trees out, look what it does. It leaves all these roots like this, and you pretty much just gotta grab onto it and either yank them out, or a lot of times they're too hard to yank out. So you get cloppers or a sawzall with the wood blade on it, and you go to town just cutting them. And this is a good chore for the kids. They can come up here and they can help, and they'll actually feel like they're contributing to all this. You know, they can't really come out here, they're not quite big enough. I don't trust them to use chainsaws and all that just yet, but you can give them a sawzall with one of them wood blades on there, and it's actually pretty fun. And if you use a sawzall blade, you can actually stick it down in the dirt and cut below ground level, and it does not dull the blade. You can't do that with the chainsaw. All right, time for the bad news. Seems like every time I come down here, I break something. Let me show you something here. One of these is not like the other. So, somehow in the midst of me using this grapple, this weld broke and it just ripped that metal right out. So I've still been using it, kind of gimping it along. I've only been using the one side and been watching this like crazy to make sure I don't bend it. But what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to get this thing back home and get it welded back on there. You can see where it just ripped that steel right out. I've never seen it do anything like that. It's probably some sort of Chinese steel, I imagine. I don't think any American steel would have done that. But I'm gonna have to grind all that down and get my welder out and see if I can't stick weld it and then maybe make it stronger than ever before. But guys, we're making progress. As I kind of pan around a little bit slow here, you can see we're getting some clearing here, and I'm trying to work my way back from the field where it's pretty clear and then down towards the water line a little bit. But I'm trying to get this view of the rock house open, and I'm not sure. There's a couple more trees right here. I think I'm gonna leave this, I think that's a pin oak. I know it's some kind of an oak. I'm gonna leave that there, but I think I'm gonna take out this wild cherry tree. I'm not 100% yet. I'm not gonna do anything today. I really like these wild cherry trees because the wild birds absolutely love them when they bloom out and they have all the wild cherries on them. So I might leave that. And then we're definitely leaving the cedar tree for now. We got to get the pole saw and start limbing it out to clear some of that. And then on down here, I probably won't use the backhoe much. I'll probably just use the sawzall and start cutting that, because we don't want any of that to erode. And then of course we'll get the pole saw and limb up some of this stuff. I might do that in a couple days. And then I'm going to try to clean up around this foundation right here as much as I can. But you can see we got a lot of raking to do. There's a lot of roots and stuff. A lot of this isn't loose, like I said. It's roots that's just laying on top of the ground. So it's not that easy to just grab a hold of and yank it out of the ground. If I had my grapple intact 100%, I could kind of put the teeth down and kind of rake it with that, and that works pretty good. But it'll just take a little bit of manpower and some time to get that done. And then there's a giant old dead tree, and this is actually a hazard. This is very dangerous. And what we'll do with it is I'll probably bring the tractor or the truck down here and get a ladder and climb up as high as I can with a rope around it, and then put some tension on it, and then we'll cut and then have it fall back this way, because we don't want it falling down that way. And then eventually we'll have all that around the rock house cleared out, and we'll get to work on that. So we got a lot of pecan trees down here. That's another oak tree. I'm pretty sure that's a pecan tree growing up in this old stash of implements here. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know if I'm going to leave this grove of trees or I'm going to take it out, but I got to try to get all this equipment out of here as well. I don't know, this stuff might be good. I might be able to repurpose it or sell it. I don't really need anything this old, but might be able to do something with it. And some of these implements are actually this is going to be fun trying to figure out how to get this out of here. This old disc is grown up into that tree there, and then we got another dead tree right here, a pretty good size one. So there you have it. And I'll show you something right here that I'm kind of afraid of. And I don't know what this is, but there's some kind of a foundation. There's a cement foundation right here. I don't know, maybe that was a septic tank or what that was. But you can see there's an old foundation all right in here too. So I'm not really sure what that is, but look at this tree right here. This thing will cause you to get some flats. I promise you that. It's some type of a locust tree, and they got these nasty mean thorns on them. So we'll definitely want to get that cut down and burned up. We don't need no more flats. But there you have it. And of course we got another big pecan tree right here. A lot of oaks and stuff like that. But it's starting to clear up. So like I always say, you can only do so much at a time. And whenever we bought this property, we knew it was going to be some extra work, and we just come down here and work on it in our free time after we get all our farm work done, all our regular work, and then all the kids' activities. They've already started school, so we're doing that now. So it is, to me, I love doing this type of work. I come down here and it's just relaxing, listen to the water, the wildlife, insects, birds, whatever. It's just peaceful. And if I want to take a break, I can just bring my fishing rod and walk down to the water and do a little fishing. So can't really beat that. And like I said, we're just taking this one bite at a time. It's gonna come. Every step forward is a progress. And then you get things like that break. Just gotta laugh with it, roll with the punches. It is what it is. I do have a little bit of experience clearing land and stuff like that, because whenever we bought our 20 acres that we live on now, that the farm is on, I was like 90% woods and just giant trees and stuff, and we brought dozers in and did most of it with a tractor and chainsaws, and I think we've lived there like 18 years now, and Rachel and I has put a lot of work into that, and we got most of it cleared now, and still got a lot of mature trees. We don't want to take out all the mature trees here or there. Of course, you know, a lot of pecan trees here now. These are all already mature big pecan trees. We'll be able to harvest the pecans from them, so that's really cool. We don't have any pecan trees on our current property. We got a lot of hickory and oak, and then all the limbs and everything that dies and falls, we'll use that for firewood. So anyways, guys, if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and continue following us on our journey here at the lake property. I can't wait to get started on this rock house. I think we got some cool ideas for it. We want to keep it as natural and original as possible. We want to keep it how it is. We don't want to change a lot of it, but I don't know, you have to wait and see what we come up with. We're gonna have to do some repairs on it and all that good stuff, but in time we'll get there. So I'm gonna do a little bit more work before I load the tractor up. Rachel and the kids are supposed to come down a little bit and bring me some dinner, and I gotta get this thing home and get it fixed, get it welded up, and hopefully here in a couple days I'll be able to come back down here and do some more clearing. So like always, guys, we love you. Thank you so much for your support. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.